up, everybody? Welcome back to another Wisdom Girl and Wise Women show. I am Wisdom Girl Carmel Miller, and this is...
Hey, everybody. I'm Wise Woman Leslie Christie.
And thank you so much for joining us on part 2 of our Civil Rights Movement series.
Yes. We could have chosen so many greats to talk about during this series. We had so much trouble narrowing down who we wanted to highlight, who we wanted to talk about. It was hard. It was hard because the list is incredibly long. But today, we have someone that we are talking about. All right, Wisdom Girl, who is it that we are talking about today?
Today, we are going to be talking about John Lewis.
John Lewis. Woo! The great John Lewis. All right, Wisdom Girl, why don't you start out by telling our audience a little bit about John Lewis?
Well, John Robert Lewis, was born on February 21st, 1940, near Troy, Alabama, and died July 17th, 2020, in Atlanta, Georgia. He was an American civil rights leader and politician, and best known for his chairmanship of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. In other words, the CNCC. And for leading that march that was halted by the police violence on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama in 1965. A landmark event in the history of civil rights movement that became known as Bloody Sunday.
Wow.
Just Google that.
Yeah. Just Google Bloody Sunday. Such an important time and such a powerful story about what happened on that Edmund Pettus Bridge. Whew, my goodness. Yeah, Google that. You would be blown away. Well, to continue our short story, because obviously we could never, John Lewis's story is tremendous. But to continue our short story on John Lewis, in 1955, Lewis first heard about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the radio. And he closely followed King's Montgomery bus boycott later during that year. At age 15, did y'all hear that? At age 15, Lewis preached his first sermon, his first public sermon, because he really wanted to be a preacher. He was not interested in politics. He wanted to be a preacher. And so he preached his first sermon at age 15. And then at 17, Lewis met Rosa Parks. Interesting that the people that we talked about last week also had a relationship with Rosa Parks. So he met Rosa Parks, and notably for her role in the bus boycott. And then he met King for the first time at age 18, and that was what began their close friendship after he met Dr. Martin Luther King. What do you have to say, Wisdom Girl?
Well, all civil rights leaders or all civil rights movement participants have all met some of one of the greats,
Yeah.
To be honest, Sojourner Truth met Harriet Tubman. It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
They all
And
kind of met in some way.
And Claudette Colvin met Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
And anyway, to continue the civil rights movement.
Okay.
At the advice of Dr. King, John Lewis attended Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. As a student, Lewis became an activist in the civil rights movement. He organized sit-ins at segregated lunch counters in Nashville and took part in many other civil rights activities of the Nashville student movement, which was
Okay.
responsible for the desegregation of lunch counters in Nashville's downtown area. Lewis was arrested and jailed many times during the nonviolent activities to desegregate the city's downtown businesses. He was also instrumental in organizing bus boycotts and other nonviolent protests to support voting rights and racial equality.
Yeah, he did so much, at a young age. And a lot of times what happens is that we think because he was with us for quite a while, we think that much of what he did was as a congressman because he was a congressman for so long, but he began this work as a teenager. As a teenager, he was young. And it's amazing to me that someone who had no idea about politics wasn't trying to get into any type of civil rights work or anything like that, was so moved and impressed by what happened with Rosa Parks that he decided, you know what, I gotta get in on this. And he was a child. He started at only 15 years old. So, wisdom girl, when you think about how young John Lewis was, and even the others that we talked about last week, can you imagine yourself being taking part in protests, or being amongst the crowds, being beaten and being jailed and all those type of things? Can you imagine? I mean, I know that you're young, you didn't live during the civil rights movement, but you did live during the time, during the pandemic, when people were marching and people were fighting for civil rights. So can you imagine yourself going through something like that as a child?
Oh my god. I To be honest, what I'm about to say, I have two stories. I have experienced racism before, but what I did afterwards,
Mm,
a year or two,
okay.
a year or months later,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm going to share,
Okay. Talk about it.
is is gonna be big. But I don't even like to talk about how I experience my type of racism. But you know what? I'm gonna try to stay strong.
Stay strong.
Y'all
Stay
gotta help
strong,
me. Y'all
girl.
gotta
Stay
help me. I
strong.
need to stay strong.
Okay.
Um. So Roblox, right? Everyone
Hmm.
has heard of the Roblox. You know these children, children these days we play Roblox or play
Yeah.
some type of video game. So I was
Hmm.
playing Roblox, and Roblox, it takes up so much space on your phone or your whatever device because there are other games in Roblox
Hmm.
that it's different games combined in one.
Okay.
So I was playing this game Brookhaven, right?
Hmm.
And you can get a house. So I had a house,
Okay.
and I was house 13 or 23,
Hmm.
and I think I was playing with my brother and my sister, or maybe I was by myself
Hmm.
playing. And I saw this girl. She was white, she had brown hair, and I was like, do you need to be adopted?
Mm, okay.
But I'm about to say right now,
Go ahead.
I
Spill it.
I
Spill it.
might burst into tears, or I might get so
Oh,
angry. I'm gonna
we
try.
got you. Let me
I'm
just tell you, that Sunday's best, Sister Carol, talked about your bravery, and Pastor Martin Christie, your GPA says we got your back. So go ahead.
okay.
You
Oh,
do this.
okay. I'm gonna try. This
Okay.
person told me I don't want to get adopted by you because you're black.
Wow. Wait, and this is a game you're talking about? Wow. Okay. So what happened?
So, I was upset,
Yeah.
because I'm being told that I cannot be who I am in a game because of my skin tone or because of who I am.
Wow. Wow.
And it's hard for me to talk about this because I've never experienced racism before, and I
Yeah.
was hoping, and that's what we're told, that we're never going to experience racism in life because it was all because people, they've handled it.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
handled it by themselves, but you can't be told in the game that you can't, that I can't adopt you because of I'm black. And I just I thought she would be okay with it because she had brown hair, like real
Mhm.
brown hair. Like
Yeah.
it was amazing to me. So
Wow.
I
Wow.
was like, do you need to be adopted? Because she was like, no, not you. You're black.
Mm. Wow. 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 Yeah. So what else happened? I mean, like,
Um,
how did you handle it?
I reported it, and I wasn't in the best.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. Oh my god. I wasn't in the best mood after that.
Mm-hmm.
But my brother. Um,
By the way, your brother's watching.
so my brother, he really tried. He,
Mm-hmm.
he he did everything he could to help me out.
Mhm.
And I told my mom, and she was like, "Well, it's a good thing that you reported it because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not, it's
Gotta
not
do
good
it.
for you."
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And there were other times. So the second time I was, my brother remembers this. I was definitely playing with him. I was definitely
Mhm.
playing with him.
Okay.
What happened was
Were you
I
playing
wanted to.
Roblox again for the
Yeah, I
second?
was playing. I think I was still playing Brookhaven, right?
Okay. All
And
right.
I was like nine, nine.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to be nine. Was I nine? I think, yeah, nine.
Okay.
And I was here. I was at this time I was the baby, so I
Okay.
wanted to be the baby, and I need to be adopted. And this person was like, "Yeah, sure, sure." And
Mhm.
this person was white, had red hair. I had black hair,
Mhm.
and I was black. I was
Okay.
not black, but these games are not a joke because they don't, like, most games, they're specific colors. Like it's
Yeah.
black, it's this particular, like, dark black, lighter black, brown in that door, and then it's this black and this black. But this particular game has green and purple and
Wow.
yellow
Wow.
and pink. Gerald, how you do?
Joe
Oh, Science.
from Sid the
We,
Scientist.
we remember that show. That was a good show. Okay. But I was here. I was the baby, and I was asking people to be adopted, and they were like, "No, my house is full," because back then when I was nine, nobody really had premium, and
Okay.
premium has like a lot more houses, so has a
Yeah.
lot more good house options. So
Yeah. By
I
the way, let me just interject here. By the way, those who are just joining us and tuning in, Wisdom Girl is sharing her experience about racism through a game called Roblox. And maybe some of you, your children, your grandchildren, if you're a child and you're watching, you know about Roblox. If you don't, it is a game that you need to be made aware of. And she's sharing her experience about racism through this game. Okay, go ahead, Wisdom Girl.
um I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember, but I'm also not trying to remember.
Yeah, I understand.
So what happened was, um this person agreed to adopt me, and this person didn't even have me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Thank you," and everything, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, sure, you can come in under one couch." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be nice." He was like, "No, not that. You have to turn yourself white and have red hair like me." And I'm like,
Wow.
and how, like, there's these specific makeups that do not look good on brown skin. Let's just say
Come on.
they
That's
don't look good on brown skin.
that's another show, but you're right. Yeah.
And it wasn't. I wasn't okay after that because
Mm,
my brother was like, "You know what? Just tell her never mind and just get your own house at this point because
yeah,
it doesn't make sense because
right.
I don't understand why they're treating you like this and why they're like he's a good big brother."
He is. He is. Shout out to Christian Miller. So
And
I'm
yeah.
sorry, go ahead. continue, because I was going to ask you, like, did you do anything? Did you, like, did you just keep it to yourself? Did you share? Like, what did you do?
I kept it to myself, but I didn't because Christian already knew. So I
Okay.
guess you could say I didn't keep it to myself, but I
Okay.
did
All right.
because I didn't tell my parents.
Okay.
Did I don't remember it. I was like 9.
So did anything happen to these people? You know,
Well, the first person I reported, but the second
good
person,
job. Good for you. You got to report it. Mhm.
I didn't report the second person only because I don't understand. I just wasn't in the mood. I just left the game. I think I just left the game and we played a different game called
Okay.
Liftopia, where
Okay.
you can where you could like, oh my god, what is, where you could like put it to like, you can put it to public people,
Okay.
friends,
Mhm.
or friends, or you could just put it only the owner.
Okay. Okay.
So like every time someone asks me to adopt them, I'm like, sure, let me friend you first,
Okay.
so that you can come in, because nobody's coming in my house publicly.
Okay. So it's a form of protecting yourself.
Right.
Good
And
job.
to be honest, I don't even care. They can't. I don't do what they did. I was like I adopt many white skin tones
Right. Right.
and many people with different types of color hair. Like there's you in these games, you can have pink hair, orange hair, yellow hair.
Wow. Wow.
Um,
So share what you did. Like, you did something extraordinary that probably most no, most children your age would not do. Share what you did.
I don't think I told Chris this, but I don't think I told my brother this before.
Mhm.
But I was watching a video about how this person, me and my sister loved these people on YouTube, and I was watching how this girl was getting bullied on Roblox and banned from Roblox of because of her, so like, and saying Black Lives Matter, and how all
Mhm.
of her Black Lives Matter shirts got deleted,
Wow. Wow.
and how it got deleted, and how she
Mhm.
was saying harassment was BLM, was Black Lives Matter, was harassment, when they were calling her the N-word with the hard R.
Oh my gosh.
The the
Wow.
the, the hard R, not even the, it's one thing with the A, but it's one thing with the hard R. And Roblox, they hashtag things out. So
Mm.
she was showing us the screen recording,
Okay.
and the N-word didn't even get hashtagged out.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So this angered me. So what I did was, and I look back on what happened, and
Mhm.
when I was like 9, 10,
Okay.
and probably 9 turning 10 that year.
Mhm.
But I went into Roblox. I put on like these black clothing and black pigtails to show
Okay.
that, hey, black people could wear pigtails too.
Okay. Come on. Yes.
And then,
Mhm.
oh my god, I put like in Roblox. My brother and sister understand, so
Mhm.
I have this. You can get this sign,
Okay.
right? And you can like click on it, and just to like decide what you want to put on it. Like, I need to be adopted or something.
Okay. So what did you do?
Oh my god, it's making me smile thinking. So I'm not gonna say exactly what I did, but I put BLM on it, and then this other
Okay.
person came in and said BLM,
Mhm.
and then other people came in and said BLM. So I started a whole protest in Roblox,
Come on.
and then we started driving. We were driving around, like there's like this area where it's like country, and we were driving all around the town, and
Yeah.
we were like with our signs, like your signs can actually like stick up
Uh-huh.
outside of the car, like stick up,
Yeah.
and it was funny, and it was said BLM.
So you started a revolution, you started a protest, I should say, on Roblox because of your experience.
Yeah.
That's awesome, because what you did was exactly what John Lewis did when he organized the march on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. in Selma. And so, that took some courage, that took some organizing. And, most young people your age don't even know about protests and don't even know about these things, but yet you took that into your hands and you did something extraordinary. And so, I'm proud of you for standing up, even though you had your experience and it was painful and it was hurtful, but you did something no matter what. You did something no matter what. So, we want to just say it would literally, take us days to share everything about this giant, everything about that we know about John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, and all that he contributed to the civil rights movement and even beyond that. He was really a giant. He was a giant of a man, and he was a man of God. And so, we just want to just salute him. We just want to thank the Lord for him. And we were blessed to have him for 80 years here on this earth. 80 years. Yes. And so while he was here, what your generation may or may not know, and you shared with me that you didn't even know who he was until after he died. But he was a member of the Democratic Party, and he was first elected to Congress in 1986 and served 17 terms, 17 terms and 34 years in the House of Representatives until his death in 2020. And he also received many, many honorary degrees and awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2011 by, of course, President Barack Obama. We have some wisdom, some sayings that he said, some wisdom nuggets, but I want you to share what you felt when you learned that a man named John Lewis died and you didn't know, you never learned about him. Hear us. Our children are not learning their history in school. But I want you to, real quickly, because our time is almost up, to share your experience, how you felt when you learned that John Lewis had died.
Okay. So, like you said, we didn't learn about it. So it was 2020. Yeah, it was 2020. 7 days after my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to my great grandparents' house. And if you know me, I have weird interests. I don't have regular interest. I like princess movies and all that stuff. I like fairy tales, folktale. I like those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I have interest in different cultures.
Yes.
And their shows, and
Right.
I enjoy anime.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there, and I was like, and then my great grandfather asked me, "Oh, have you heard of John Lewis?" I'm like, "Who, John Lewis?" He's like, "Oh, he was with Martin Luther King Jr. and telling me everything he did." I'm like, hold on. He was with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I never heard of him.
Come on. Something's wrong.
Yeah, something a little wrong with that picture. Yeah, like this was back then where like you couldn't even erase the pictures.
Yeah.
With the phone apps now.
Right.
And
Right.
now, yeah, how'd y'all figure out how to erase that picture from our minds? That's not fair.
Yeah.
And then I learned about his granddaughter in fourth grade. I'm like, okay. Now something wrong here.
So how did you feel about it?
I was angry.
Okay.
But, that's what also encouraged me to start that protest in Brookhaven.
All right. And see, that's the thing. That's what we have to understand is that we have to make a stand. We have to make a stand. One of the things that John Lewis said was when you see something that is right, not that is not right, let me say that correctly. When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, You have to speak up. You have to say something. You have to do something. And that's what he did. That's what his life was about. That's what Wisdom Girl did. That's what we need to do. We have to stand up for the things that are not right and be okay with it. Even if you are fearful, you do it anyway. You do it anyway. What are some another thing that John Lewis said, something that he left for us to learn from?
This one is deep.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all feelings might get hurt, but I don't care. Without prayer, without
Mm-hmm.
faith in the Almighty, the
Mm-hmm.
civil rights movement would have been like a bird without wings.
Yeah, it would have never taken flight. It would have never got off the ground. It would have been just laying there. That's right, because that was the basis of it, prayer and their faith in God Almighty. And that's the thing that caused it to move and to reach generations later on, like my generation, like your mother's generation, like your generation. And so, yeah,
My
that's
generation.
deep. Yeah, and generations later on, because it all affects everybody after you. What John Lewis and everyone in the civil rights movement did, it will affect all the generations later, and that's the power of the civil rights movement. Well, one thing that he said that we want to leave with you as we wrap up our show today is that he said, sometimes I feel like crying, tears of happiness, tears of joy, to see the distance we've come and the progress we've made. And even though things are not exactly the way, all peaches and cream, and we still got a long way to go, we still have made some progress. We still see what the strides that we've made, and to God be the glory for that. So for Generation Z and for all the generations behind, let's take on what John Lewis has done. Do it afraid. Do what's right. Stand up for what's right and watch what happens, and keep your faith in God. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This is Wisdom Girl Wise Woman, and we come to you live every Saturday at 2 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. We want you to check out all of our social media outlets. Wisdom Girl, why don't you tell them how they can contact us and connect with us?
You can connect with us at wisdomgirlwisewoman@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. And where else?
wisdomgirlwisewoman.com.
Yes.
And you can text us on Facebook at wisdomgirlwisewoman.
Yeah, and we're also on Instagram and on YouTube. So please like, share, tag, tell somebody about us.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. Come on, you can even subscribe and join us on our website, www.wisdomgirlwisewoman.com. So please go there, check us out. We love you. Next week we'll be right here, same time, same channel, same place. And next week we're going to be talking about what, Wisdom Girl?
The life of a middle kid.
The life of a middle kid blues. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye bye now.